Hey everyone, welcome back to the shop. The limo's here. If you can't tell, it's kind of hard to miss. Hmm. This is brought to you by Rockstar. Trust me, it is. So we have to put a new fuel pump in this. The fuel pump got here kind of late, so I'm gonna do fuel pump prep tonight, and I'm gonna do the fuel pump in the morning. I have a ton of stuff to do for the videos that we're shooting on Friday for the guitar stuff. So I have to go prep that tonight in order to do that. And so I'm going to do the limo in the morning, replace that fuel pump, but it'll be here on this YouTube channel. So tonight I just wanted to show you guys the basics of the fuel pump and the fittings and stuff. So you get an idea of how an external fuel pump works. Um, like I said in the last video, most modern cars will have a fuel pump inside the gas tank. And it's like a ring on top of the gas tank. You pull it out, little tube that goes down to the fuel pump and a couple of wires. I know it's weird to put electricity with fuel, but it works. Um, so there's a fuel pump in there. There's a little sock that sits at the bottom of the fuel tank, and the fuel pump sends fuel up and out. And this one, it's a little different. There is an external fuel pump, and it looks like this. And we're not going to advertise for these guys because they did not give it to me for free by any stretch. So it looks like this. And it sucks in fuel and sends out fuel, and there's your contacts right there for your power. So that's what an external fuel pump looks like. This one's pretty big. This one's also really heavy duty. He averages 75 psi, which is pretty serious. But the Sniper that is in this car needs 60 psi. So that's why I got the heavy duty fuel pump. This comes with a standard banjo fitting. Oh, and it's all lubed up and gross. So I'm going to change these fittings out to the ones that we need. We need 3/8" barb fittings, which are what are in the car right now. We have 3/8" hose. So I'm going to clean my hands up of this schmooey goo. And I'm going to put the new fittings on here. And that's kind of all we're going to do tonight. Tomorrow I'll get underneath the car, get the fuel pump replaced, and show you guys how all of that works. Plus I'll have a different camera and I can get up and get close. Ugh. Where are my paper towels? This stuff's kind of gross. So pull this off, and I'm just going to put parts back in the box. Now, the nice part about fuel pumps like this, when you get quality kits, they give you a bunch of other fittings. So you have some AN fittings that go from what's called NPT, which is National Pipe Thread, to an AN fitting. It looks like a -6. And then this is a -4 and fitting for the other end. And that's nice that they include those. We're not going to be using them. We're going to be using something different. There's also covers for the connectors, which we will be using. These little rubber boots, but we're not going to be using those connectors. I already have connectors down there. The thing is already wired up. So we're going to take these off. And I have two new AN fittings. They look like this with the barb end right here and the NPT end right there. And they come with crush washers and everything. So we're going to swap out these fittings with, well, there isn't one on this end. It's just a plastic plug with the barbed end fittings one, which is what we really want. So let me grab a couple of, see if we can do a socket here. So these things aren't on very tight. I just grabbed a 17 really quick and pulled it off. So these we will not be using. I don't think. Maybe. I think I have to separate. Possibly. We'll see. Nope. So we're going to set this fitting aside. We might use it on something else later, but that banjo fitting we're not going to use inside here. So that's kind of what it looks like without any fittings. We'll pull the thread protector plug out of there. Now, I'm weird. I like to save these because I use them for other stuff. When I pull other things out, if it's leaking fuel or whatever, I can jam that in there really quick. So I have a little cup that has a whole bunch of different sizes, and I just kind of save those and put this 17 back. And we'll come over here. These are our little AN fittings. And I hate to say AN because it's M18. It's pretty big. So this guy, you can't really screw this up. You have an M18 on this side and you have an M12 on this side. So it's kind of tough to screw up. You better thread in there. It's tight. We get our AN wrench and get them in there nice and tight. And these guys come with the crush washer too, which is very handy. So get this other fitting. Come on, buddy. Recycle those, get our crush washer on, and thread him in there nice and tight. This guy is, I'm grabbing the AN wrenches. Whoops, other side. Where did my other AN go? There it is. I don't know if I can get this guy on tight with the ANs because the studs are in the way. So AN wrenches are made of aluminum, and they are done to protect the finish on AN fittings. That's why we have aluminum on that. But as you can see here, it won't let me turn it either way because the wrench hits the contact. So we're going to have to use a socket for that. And he is a 17 again. Nope. He's an 11/16. And you can do this, just kind of be careful. Doesn't take much. Now we have our fitting on there. Let's get, whoa, come back here. Let's get this guy going. It's not a 1 inch. It would be funny if these are different sizes. They are. This guy is not threading on because there is a ton of material in here or on the fitting, one of the two. So this is the fun part. He threads in there, but man, he is super tight at the beginning. So let's find out what size he actually is. And my thread chaser doesn't go up to M18. None of my other stuff goes up to M18. So it actually looks like he has a helicoil in there. He does. I don't know if you guys can see that. He has a helicoil. Rotate this around. See that? See where that thread starts right there? That means it's a helicoil, which is kind of odd. I would have thought they would thread these for, all right, crush washer, you stay there. Yeah, but you can kind of tell he's at an angle. He doesn't thread in there correctly. So that helicoil will be fun to get out of there. That's interesting. I wonder why they did that. Huh. let's take a look at, like they say, RTFM. Hate to have to send this back. This is actually one of the very few fuel pumps out there. Micron fuel filter. 13 volts, 14 gauge wire. Let's see what it says. It, of course, does not give the... Oh, you know why? Because they have this adapter that is NPT. So that's why they helicoiled it. And this adapter will thread right in because it's NPT, not metric. They changed it. That's what the helicoil does. So that will be another fun part, is to take the helicoil out and it'll be M18. Ooh, that's kind of frustrating. That is actually very frustrating because it specs on their site that it's an M18. But they don't tell you that they put a helicoil in there for this fitting. So they made it very difficult. Very difficult. A lot of guys run AN fittings for fuel, and that's fine for those guys that do that. But we run barb fittings on this car. On other cars, I have AN fittings for, on the Ariel and on the Neon and some other cars. But this one, we do not. So we got halfway there. I'm going to put that plug back in for the time being, and I'll remove that helicoil and we'll have our M18 again. Or I might just order a different adapter, which would kind of suck because I wouldn't have a fuel pump in the limo for a while. And yeah, we'll see about that. But anyway, external fuel pump. Now you know what they look like. Now you know how they are. Blue obviously is ground. Red is obviously power. This one is very heavy duty. This one's 75 PSI. This will power up to probably 600 horsepower if you're running fuel injection. This will be a pretty serious pump, and it'll work great. But we just need to get the right fittings. And for this car, it has two filters. You have a pre-filter that does all the big chunks, and then after you have a post-filter. Then after you have a post-filter that has very, very small, it's very fine, and gets all the little tiny chunks. So you have a pre-filter here and a post-filter here, then it goes up to the carb. And that's how that works. So, damn, we were really close on that. I was very hopeful. But that's how they want you to do it. Wear approved safety glasses. Yeah. It's good for pump gas, race gas, E85, diesel, alcohol, and ethanol. So it does have really nice Buna-L O-rings and stuff in there. Don't overflow the tank. Minimum of 9/16 ID. Fuel outlet, 100 micron. Yeah, they talk about the pre and post filters here. -10, that's what they want you to use. So, damn it. Okay, so we're gonna have to get a different fitting. Sorry, I was hopeful that this would be a one and done, but it is not. And not really anyone's fault. Just they do it a little different. What they're used to in their stuff is they're used to AN fittings, and not many people. You got to be kind of old school to run barb fittings. So, as much as I'd like to, I can't really do that with this car. Otherwise, I would have a lot of AN fittings. And the other problem with AN fittings is once you do one, you get completely out of control, and you starting the whole car. It happened to me when I was doing my Viper truck. I did one AN fitting. Actually, I did two of them, and I was like, "Damn, I should just do the rest." And all of a sudden, you're like $5,000 into AN fittings. They look great and they work great, and they're awesome for doing any kind of maintenance, but it adds up really quick. You get an adapter, you get the fitting, you get the hose, you get another fitting, you get another adapter. That's like $100, and it just keeps going and going and going till you've done all the hoses. And yeah, it adds up very quickly. It did on the Viper truck. It did on my other Viper, and this Viper only has a few AN fittings. I've toned it down a little bit on the current Viper, but I don't want to do that with this car. You know, we have a budget and we're trying to stick to it. So we'll just stick with the barb fittings, and that'll be fine. And that's where we're at. So with any good fortune, I'll do that. Or the other thing we might do tomorrow is I got the hooks, the wall hooks. Now these are going to get cut off, but they're for the Miata. So this part is going to get cut off, the little hook part right here. And these Frankenstein bolts are going to go on there. That's how that's going to work. This is going to hold the Miata roof a lot better than the Frankenstein bolts or than the plastic clips. These are metal. So I just have to cut these hooks off, a little bit of paint, drill a hole, we're done. So we'll do that one tomorrow too. That'll be a quick, really quick project, hopefully. Then get the Miata roof, the hardtop back hanging up instead of sitting on the floor inside the trailer. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me tonight, folks. I'm sorry we didn't finish the fuel pump thing. I promise we will. At the very least, we'll get under the limo. You can see the new exhaust, which is not very good. And I'll show you where the fuel pump stuff is. There might actually be a fitting on that old fuel pump that I can use, possibly. I don't remember what was on there, so maybe we can use that. But I will do that tomorrow. That'll be tomorrow afternoon. So I'll be in here tomorrow afternoon doing the fuel pump. So definitely stop back by, okay? I appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. I know it was a late one. I'm sorry it's a short one with nothing like super cool. But we'll get back to it ASAP. Because I really want this thing running again. Runs great when we have fuel pressure. So thanks again, and don't forget to subscribe, and definitely tell friends about it. We'll be in here. We did a hitch on a Honda Pilot earlier tonight. Sorry I didn't broadcast that. That was kind of fun and kind of interesting. It was very quick. But yeah, we'll do a ton more car stuff. We've got John's car coming up here, doing some control arms. We've got it doesn't stop, man. We've got tons of stuff. We're going to do coilovers on the Miata. Got a ton of stuff. So definitely subscribe, hang out, and shoot me a comment if you want to see something in particular. I'll definitely try and get it over here. I know that Ariel's a big, very popular car to have over here, so we'll try and get it over more. And yeah, thanks again, everyone. Don't forget to show someone that you love them today. Okay, it's really important. Give me a kiss on the cheek. Give me a kiss on the nose. Hold their hand. Give it a squeeze. It's important to them, but it's really important for you. Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. I'll catch you. I'll catch you tomorrow about lunchtime. We'll pop in here and we'll see what we can do with this fuel pump. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.